everybody, welcome to Wild Boy Movies, the place to talk movies. And today, we're going to be reviewing Predator Killer of Killers, an animated anthology film set within the universe of The Predator. Right now I'm going to have some information up on screen for you to read, like director, runtime, and PAA rating. All of that will be up on screen for you to read right now. But be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on Predator Killer of Killers. But without further ado, let's get right into the pros. Alright, starting off, I gotta go ahead and praise the director of this movie, Dan Trachtenberg, who not only directed the previous installment of the franchise, Prey, but is also the one directing this November's Predator Badlands, which I am really looking forward to, and you can check out the video on my thoughts on that Badlands trailer. And I was excited for Badlands because of Trachtenberg's involvement, because I thought he did a good job with Prey. But here, he did a really good job because I like the direction that he took for this movie, giving it an anthology take, showing us different stories, which I will get into each and every of those individual stories that was told in this movie in a bit. But I like how he went ahead and handled the anthology route for this movie, and now I am really more excited for Predator Badlands to come out. I am just really looking forward to that movie coming in November, and I think he's going to do an amazing job there because I thought he did an amazing job here with Killer of Killers. I also gotta go ahead and praise the animation in this movie because this is something new for the franchise. We haven't gotten an animated Predator movie before, so this is something new for them. And if they decide to continue making anthology movies for streaming, I would want them to be animated because yeah, I do really like the animation that they had in this movie. It does remind me of something like Arcane, you know, that series from Netflix. But that's not really a big complaint. I do really like the animation style they presented here. And yeah, I also like how they went ahead and made it brutal because this film is rated R. They do not hold back with the blood or gore. And that is something that animated movies really need because we do get some adult animated movies, but they mainly lean on towards like sexual material, whether that be Sausage Party or the upcoming Netflix Sony animated movie Fix. They rely on that immature humor when I would want more animated movies to lean more towards the violence, and Predator Killer of Killers here is definitely a step in that direction. And the action here is also really good. The R-rated factor of it being bloody and gory does increase that enjoyment of the action, but I still enjoyed some of the action that we got, even if it wasn't between the Predator and their victims. Like, we do get to see some Viking action, some samurai action, and World War II action in here. They all were pretty good, and that didn't even involve the Yautja Predator. And when we do get to those fights between our warriors from each individual story with the Yautja, it is also really cool to see, like seeing how the Predator would fight against these particular people, and I liked seeing that in the movie. But now getting on to the anthology route of this movie. Now, going into this, I was hoping that they would tell like a story, like let's say for the Vikings. I hope they would just tell the Viking story all the way through, and when it ended, cut to the next part of the movie instead of just showing Viking and then pause for that storyline and show part of the samurai story and then pause World War II and then the cycle goes through. I'm glad they didn't go down that route and just told its story from point A all the way down to point B. And then when that story ended, we jumped into the next story. And I'm glad they did that. Now, in terms of like each and individual stories that they told, the Viking one was pretty good. Now, I was thinking that one might not be like the one that would be my favorite just because I'm not really that big of Vikings, but I did really enjoy that part of the movie. The World War II one is also really good because I have a fascination with the topic of World War II, and I like the story that they told there, but my favorite had to be the samurai segment, and there were a lot of people clamoring for the Predator franchise to have a Yautja versus samurais, and they deliver that here. And it's everything that I feel like people who wanted that scenario to happen in the franchise, they delivered on it. And I did like that this is the samurai story. They did not have like really much dialogue at all. I liked how it was just mainly action between like samurais fighting each other and then a main samurai fighting the predator. Like I liked how they handled that part of the samurai story, and all the stories in the here that they told were all really good in its own way. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and I really think that they definitely should continue on the route of animated anthologies in the near future. But there is like one thing that is just holding it back from being like one of the best movies of the year, like high 90s. So let's get into that con. And that really is the third act of this movie. Now, I don't want to give away too much because this is a spoiler-free review, but I just will say, was it fun to watch in terms of like the action? Yes. Did it give some new lore on the Predator franchise? Yes. Did it have some gorgeous shots in here with the animation? Also, yes. My main problem with the movie is just how they went ahead and had this ending go down without spoiling it too much because I don't want to give it away, but I felt like they kind of ruined like the anthology route. I will say though, I will compare it to like how Marvel handled What If. Well, I wanted that show to be completely standalone and anthology, but they had to connect it in one another. That sort of thing can apply here with Predator Killer Killers. That's all I'm really gonna say without giving away too much. But yeah, the ending was still cool to watch, and it had like a surprising appearance from a character. But yeah, really wasn't a fan of how they went ahead and had that ending. But that really is just a minor nitpick. Other than that, this movie was genuinely like really good. I do definitely recommend you watch it, and I hope that someday Disney and 20th Century Studios can go ahead and decide to move on with more animated anthology films. So for my scorecard, I'm gonna give Predator Killer of Killers 4.5 stars, with the score out of 10 being 9.2 out of 10, with the percentage being 92%, with a grade of A-, with my final verdict being awesome new take on the franchise. But that was my review for Predator Killer of Killers. I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys' thoughts on this movie? Go ahead and leave that down in the comments section. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. And have a great day.